You read the game better when you've all the facts.
It's a new era for Gaelic football. Let the Super 8s begin. Well, Eamon Fitzmaurice is rebuilding, re-energising this Kerry team. Is getting more impressive as we watch it. Well, we are going to be treated, I feel, to a thriller in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. The new dynamic duo of Kerry football. Sean O'Shea at centre forward and the sensational David Clifford. Coming to the right, hits with the left, back of the net. Beautiful to watch. Kerry have secured their 80th Munster title. Will Galway go all-out attack? We know that the potential is there in those six forwards. Connacht title, will it be in Roscommon for the second year in a row, or will it head further west? Comes for Shane Walsh. Oh, he's a sweet kicker of a ball. Absolutely beautiful. Galway coming out of their shell, perhaps. Galway finally beginning to show their class. And Galway are the Connacht champions.
Everybody eagerly looking forward to this because both these teams have got the winning habit and no one wants to bow the knee to the other right now.
It's actually 53 years since Galway last beat Kerry in championship football. On that occasion in 1965, the Beatles were #1 on the charts with help. Maybe the tribesmen could do with a little bit of that today against the Kingdom. Well, two of the guys here beside me are old enough to remember that. Michael Meehan, who also joins us today, definitely does not. By the way, another thing, we have solved the jacket mystery. It was actually Pat Spillane's jacket, and there's quality there, lads, I can tell you that, although he didn't even notice.
No, Rosari's a good buyer.
She certainly is. Well, look at right jackets on at this stage. Kerry, Pat, are they going to do it?
Well, you know, like during the league, our glass was all half empty because we had a bad league campaign. We conceded more goals than any team in Division 110. We went 5 matches without scoring a goal. And then suddenly the championship comes. He introduces seven championship debutants and he gives youth its fling. And in the 2 championship matches, they're averaging 30 points in the 2 games. The one thing what youth has brought, it has brought pace. There's energy to the team. He sort of left them off the leash. And the other thing about the youth, the David Cliffords and the Sean O'Sheas that have been introduced into Jason Foley, they come with All-Ireland medals in their pocket. They come with colleges medals in their pocket. These boys come with belief. So what I like about Kerry at the moment is, now, of course, our glass is not alone half full. Our glass is overflowing now. We're completely gone overboard. Yeah. The real Kerry team, I'm not quite sure. But what we've seen in the championship, albeit against very poor opposition, is very encouraging. They're not the finished article. They have brilliant forwards, midfield okay, question mark still over the defence.
OK, we'll talk to the other two lads in a moment, but there are changes, by the way, on both teams. So let's head over right now to the commentary box to confirm the team lineups. And over there is Marty Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Michael, and indeed it's the battle of the champions. Munster represented by Kerry, Connacht represented by Galway, and in the commentary position here with me will be a Connacht man via Ulster, Martin Carney. We'll enjoy the commentary together. Let's give you the team changes and indeed the team lineouts. The Kerry goalkeeper is Shane Murphy. It's his first season as first choice keeper, but he also has the added responsibility of being the Kingdom captain. Peter Crowley comes to Croke Park with the number 3 jersey clearly inscribed on his back. In the corners will be Jason Foley and Breen O'Bioglog. It's an inner line that could be tested this afternoon. Gavin White is a really good footballer, so keep an eye on the Kerry number 7. Killian Young is a late change and is named at centre back. Experience with a touch of youthful exuberance is the cocktail that Kerry have at centre field, with David Moran at number 8 and Jack Berry right beside him. Kevin McCarthy was superb when he was introduced against Cork in the Munster final. He wins a place in the Kingdom half-forward line beside the 2 Kenmare footballers, Sean O'Shea and Stephen O'Brien. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the Kerry full-forward line has the potential to be the best in the country. David Clifford, Paul Ganey and James O'Donoghue have class written and stamped all over them. Galway goalkeeper Rory Lavelle now plays his club football with Saltine Lochnacarra and Galway City. It's his second season. He's just 23 and made his debut last year against Mayo. Declan Kine, Sean Andy O'Callig and now Owen Kern, who gets a late call-up, are a strong full backline but could be facing the biggest test of their inter-county careers this afternoon. Gareth Bradshaw's at number 6 with Cathal Sweeney and the multi-talented Johnny Heaney on the wings. It's Paul Conroy and Tom Flynn at centre field for the Maroon and White, and they have proven themselves to be a formidable force in this crucial area. It's a half-forward line bubbling with speed, skill and laced indeed with potential as we look at the midfield combination that is pretty strong. But the half-forward line is bubbling with speed, skill and faced with huge potential. Keep an eye on Eamon Brannigan. Adrian Varley, who starts now at centre-forward, and on his left there is Sean Kelly. Full forward Damien Comer is the Galway captain. He's top-class footballer. At top of the right will be Curra Finzi and Burke, while Shane Walsh, who scored 8 points against Roscommon and will once again be the man to watch. It's an intriguing contest. We're looking forward to Kerry against Galway. Throw-in is at 4 o'clock. Michael.
Marty, we certainly are. There's no doubt about that. We got the views of Pat a moment ago about Kerry's prospects. Michael, you guys ready for this?
I hope so. It's a big challenge. I think it's the game that Galway need, and it's maybe what the public want. And just to see, are they, after the league campaign that they put in, can they make the next step?
Yeah.
And today, I think, is an important day in that next step if this team is to go on.
And I suppose for everybody, it's the question of, are Galway going to go and play the kind of football that people believe Galway are capable of playing?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll get a mix today. The way they've lined up all year, they're not going to throw everything out at this stage. And I think that the weather, in some ways, might help Galway just to slow down some of these, the attack and play that, you know, they'll obviously be concerned about what Kerry can do. But for me, I'd like to see them going really at it from the start. Put these Kerry lads under pressure. They're fantastic players, but they haven't seen the real raw white heat of battle yet in Championship Senior
this year.
This year. You know, the Cliffords and the O'Sheas, they're fantastic players. I hope they're put to the pin of their collar straight away to see are they up for that, because they've waltzed through the Munster Championship, and it's an important thing for Galway to start strong today.
It's a fair point. Colin, we'll get your views on this match in a moment, but of course we've already had a match here at Croke Park today. That is the game between Kildare and Monaghan. Final score in that match was Monaghan 15 points, Kildare 110. You watched that game, of course.
Yeah, and Monaghan were the better team. Kildare missed a lot, but it was a very poor game, pedestrian, a lot of slipping and sliding. The conditions are very poor here today. And it was stop-start, and the referee didn't help. He must have nearly booked everybody. And there wasn't one decent hit in the whole game. So it was that sort of game. But Monaghan were a bit more cunning, I think.
Yeah.
And Kildare, even when they were chasing the game, they never seemed to get enough players up front to cause any problems. So it was a poor game. But Monaghan will be very happy because they've never got beyond the quarter-final. So they win one of their last two, and they're in the semi-final for the first time.
Yeah, fair play. OK, let's come back to this match again. Pat, we've been getting the two of your views on what we might expect out of this. But there's no doubt, I think, people looking at Kerry this year will know the kind of talent that is there.
Well, down through the years, what made Kerry a great footballing force was always natural attackers, loads of natural forwards. And number two, what's in their DNA is that Kerry footballers are very good kick passing. Now, over the last couple of years with Eamon Fitzmaurice, we became very conservative. We picked a half-hour line for defensive duties and playing very deep. And we resorted to slow build-up and not using the kick passing. Now, this year, what has happened this year in the two championship games is we've left the players off the leash. We're playing front foot football. We've picked a half-hour line as forwards. But I think the key is, and we'll just look at maybe just the Cork game, the key to Kerry's attacking play this year, it's all about space and it's all about quick ball. Paul Ganey out in the wing here, the space created in front of James O'Donoghue. Look at that. Beautiful diagonal ball, which Kerry are very good at. Now, the Kerry full forward line is probably the best in the business if they get this sort of space. Donoghue, David Clifford, and James O'Donoghue is now back to form. Now watch this clip. David Morden about to take a free. Last year he'd have gone sideways. This year it's about quick movement of the ball, players going forward, and you can see Stephen O'Brien is a half-hour, playing in a half-hour position, identifies the space, runs into that space, and Stephen O'Brien is brilliant at ball carrying and a great finish. Now, what you see, Sean O'Shea, another great addition, a natural forward to the half-forward, lovely kick passer. Paul Ganey shows, and again what you see is, look, lovely movement, lovely interplay, and they're trying to get the main man on the ball as a kicker, and we highlight here David Clifford on the edge of the Z, gives us a David Clifford, and he's so comfortable left or right, and an easy kick over the bar. Clifford has, you know, we always ask the question, would he make the step up to senior? He's been brilliant this year so far. He's a bit like Maurice Fitzgerald, lovely composure, lovely balance. The difference this year as opposed to last year in the minors, he would have been going for his own score. This year, coolness, composure, laying the ball back to Paul Ganey. And in Paul Ganey, probably Kerry have probably the best forward in the country at the moment. So Kerry's forwards, if Kerry can break even midfield and get quick ball into the forwards and space, Kerry will win today.
Colin, by contrast, Galway, the day of the Connacht final down in Dr. Hyde Park, the Galway fans were putting their hair out in the first half. Yes. And they were cheering Galway's football in the second half. And this is the issue, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't know whether it's as much tactics or intensity that they bring to the play. In the first half of the Connacht final, they were dreadful, and they allowed Roscommon slow build-up. It wasn't as if Roscommon were doing anything brilliant. They were easily dispossessed. See the number of Galway players running away with their back to the ball. Nobody, 3 or 4 people there standing around, nobody putting a bit of pressure on the marker. Conor Devaney solos out, passes the ball back. Again, you see half a dozen Galway players in shot there, none of them actually doing anything. So even though they had a defensive screen, it wasn't working because nobody was putting pressure on the ball outside. And eventually it comes in to Fintan Craig, who gives a lovely foot pass. And again, look at the amount of Galway players around. Not one person on the Galway team put any pressure on the player in possession. And then as if somebody turned the switch, and at half-time they came out and they were like the dogs of war. Everybody that got a ball on the Roscommon side, they were being swarmed around the place. And here with a goal chance, 3 Galway backs very quickly, and of course Sean O'Cally comes out there and down the field with the ball. So if Galway bring the first half approach to this game, they will be devastated. If they bring the second half, which I presume they will, I think we'll have a real contest.
One man who was a beacon and all that, Michael, was Shane Walsh, who was running all day long, and even in that dreadful first half. And you've been looking at the Galway running game.
Yeah, and he features in it, and we'll see him today. But first example from the match, he pulls a kick out, or he picks up a breaking ball here from a kick out, takes a play, looks inside, and puts on the afterburns again. And he'll follow up with this with a poor shot selection in the end, but this was one of the ones that he didn't score. But Shane kicked 8 points that day, and he had a fantastic game. This example here, again, starting from a kick out, but Kieran Duggan gets on the ball here and just looks to play the ball early. Puts it out in front. Johnny Heaney combines, I think, with Sean Kelly. And this is a kind of a different bit of play. Roscommon have 10 players back in the shot here, as we see. So Gareth Bradshaw provides a good run here and goes straight for the juggler. And, you know, really takes them on and wins a free. And they was kicked over on that occasion. So they just showed in those 2 clips how they can kind of mix it up. This one here, again, just the pace at which they can build from the back. And it's something that they've really worked on. It's been really apparent throughout the league. Carl Sweeney will pick up the ball here again now, and on this occasion he should offload to Sean Armstrong. You know, at that stage you want to be getting to your more creative players, and if Army gets on that ball there, he's going to carry and maybe find his man inside. And the very last one is just in the death of the game against Mayo, I think the 68th minute, Johnny Heaney, who's highlighted, you know, still full of run, he's going to end up and he's going to roof it in a few seconds' time. But Adrian Varley, who starts today, is on the ball. He links up with 2 other subs on that Mayo game, Sean Kelly and Ian Burke combined, with lovely quick hands. And that'll be important today. If they can get those hand passes off and find their players, I've no doubt that we can cause trouble for the Kerry backline.
Those changes, by the way, in the Galway team, are you happy enough with those? Or?
Yeah, I think Owen Kern was always going to come back in if fit, and Barry McHugh is out, Adrian Varley comes in there. Barry has been spectacular off the frees for Galway. I think he was 90% efficiency throughout the league, which is top of the charts in that regard, so he may be missed from dead balls, but Adrian Varley is an able replacement.
OK, as you can hear in the background, it is Aaron Avian.
There is something about Kerry and Galway. Maybe it's the beauty of their landscapes like Kinmare or Clifton. Maybe it's the passion that the people of both counties have for our beautiful native language. Or maybe it's the love of Gaelic football both counties share. Whatever it is about Kerry and Galway, it is special. On the roll of honour for the All-Ireland titles, top of the charts is the Kingdom of Kerry with 37 All-Irelands. Dublin are 10 behind, and lying in third place is Galway with 9 All-Irelands. In the football world, that earns huge respect. Respect indeed with a capital R. It's Munster versus Connacht today, Sneem versus Tuam, Lakes of Killarney against the Claddagh, the Blaskets against the Aran Islands. They're all here, wrapped in the green and gold and the maroon and white. This is different, it's Kerry against Galway. We're expecting a thriller, it usually is. The rain might have dampened the spirits, made the conditions here a little bit difficult for the players. But the pitch is in brilliant condition. Barry Cassidy from Derry is the match referee. 70 minutes of what we hope will be top-class football ahead. Munster against Connacht Kingpins 2018. Super 8s underway in Croke Park. Immediately there's a free. David Moran sending it straight down, and you can already see that handling might be a little bit difficult here. Far as Paul Conroy, laying it back far as Gareth Bradshaw. Over far as Johnny Heaney. We saw him play originally, I think it was against Mayo, at wing forward, and since then he's been transferred to the half-back line. Owen Kern, good tight marker. As Micheál Meehan said to Michael, he's kind of always anticipated that he would get back on the team once he recovered from injury. Bradshaw from Mike Cullen, testing out the Kerry full back line. David Moran is back there, manages to nudge it away for his Kevin McCarthy. And away come the Kingdom of Kerry. Floating it down for as James O'Donoghue. Into the centre, Paul Murphy. Over for as Gavin White. Good anticipation by Johnny Heaney from Killannon, All-Ireland under-21 medalists. Tom Flynn from Athenry, midfield on the under-21 All-Ireland in 2011, and indeed was also there in 2013. Paul Conroy, superb footballer. Johnny Heaney scored the goal against Mayo in the Connacht Championship that started their journey. Floodlights are on in Croke Park. There's James O'Donoghue sends it down towards David Clifford. Back out again for as James O'Donoghue. Sean O'Shea is operating in around the square. Ball is recycled out to the middle of the field for as David Moran. Paul Murphy from Rathmore gone forward. Kevin McCarthy given the pass and does the 1-2. Nice 1-2 indeed with Paul Ganey, and Kerry are up and running. It took all of 2.5 minutes, but a very good interplay sequence of good football here in Croke Park by the Kingdom.
Yeah, lovely bit of creativity in Kevin McCarthy at that time. Just watch him, took the ball, took it on his left foot. Beautiful opening score from Kerry.
Michael Daly is another player that seems to have started for Galway. Seems to have, which we weren't told about, but let's continue on with the Galway captain, Damien Comer, coming in. Shane Murphy can knock it down to himself and lay it off quickly for Stephen O'Brien. Scored a cracking goal against Cork in the Munster final, and subsequently was black-carded, much to his disappointment. Jack Barry gets a touch and gets a second one. Willing to take on Sean Kelly. Down for his David Clifford, and McCarthy combining again. The call comes from James O'Donoghue. Little jink from Stephen O'Brien. 4 Galway players around him. O'Donoghue seeking to find one Kerry man. That's Paul Ganey. He just miscued his shot, but you could see the vision of O'Donoghue.
Oh, very much so. It doesn't matter who Galway have in the sweeper. That time, the movement, I think, for O'Donoghue that time. Okay, the ball went into Ganey. Ganey miskicked the ball, put it wide, but the movement is just a delight to watch.
Kick out from Rory Lavelle ultimately works out okay. Picked up by Cathal Sweeney. Gone forward is Gareth Bradshaw. Johnny Heaney operating over in that wing. Michael Daly. Gareth Bradshaw to Paul Conroy. Trying to get past that first challenge of Stephen O'Brien. Barry Cassidy rightly gives the free.
Yeah, what we notice about Kerry, actually, you know, we talk about northern teams bringing players back. Every Kerry player is in the defensive half of the field, apart from Paul Ganey. Just that time was a lazy enough tackle. There was loads of Kerry players in position to actually kind of take up the runner, but they conceded a needless free.
Rory Lavelle is coming all the way up to take this between the Kerry 45 and 65 metre line, doing what Rory Biggin was doing in the first game here, which Monaghan won, as Michael mentioned. So Rory Lavelle, native of Inishbofin, now playing with Salt Hill Knocknacarra. Dropping it in, just under the crossbar. David Bourne leaps into the sky, gathers safely, frees to the kingdom.
Yeah, confidently fielded by David Moore. Already we've seen him in some very good defensive positions, snuffing out Galway's attack, but he's such a creative player as well, Marty.
There's Killian Young, good to see him back in the green and gold. He's been out injured for quite a while. Shows you the squad that's developing under the managerial skills of Eamon Fitzmaurice. Nice mixture of youth and experience. Stephen O'Brien, Killian Young pulling the brakes, will recycle it back out again. First Stephen O'Brien looks at the goalpost, confident enough he could land a point, but he sends it wide.
Oh, just that time again, I just sense myself that Kerry crowd are getting frustrated out there. Maybe the ball isn't going directly enough into their forward line, and that's because Garrett Bradshaw is performing quite well as a sweeper for Galway.
Short kick out for his Declan Kine, given back for his the goalkeeper, Rory Lavelle. Garrett Bradshaw lays it off, and away comes Cathal Sweeney. And Killannon has a twin brother, Patrick, on the substitute bench. Sean Andy O'Callagh from Lettermoor, giving it back. Paul Conroy getting the return pass. Eamon Brannigan makes a little bit of room for himself, and he kicks that ball wide under no great pressure.
Under no great pressure, Marty, that time. He made the room for himself, a lovely little jink, looked up, shot but inaccurately. And we were just talking about Michael Daly has come on the field. I'm not sure exactly who he's in instead of. The midfield pairing, Paul Conroy and Thomas Flynn are there, but Daly has come in, I think, instead of, is it Johnny Heaney?
Well, Johnny Heaney was there a moment ago. We'll just double check.
Definitely.
Just been confirmed from the sideline that it's Michael Daly that's on instead of Barry McHugh.
That's right, so Adrian Varley isn't playing then.
Exactly.
It's Michael Daly.
Down far is Ian Burke. Had a wonderful season with both club and county so far. This is better from Galway. Eamon Brannigan just had a goal a moment ago, decides to lay it off. Nice pick up by the captain, Damien Comer. An old-fashioned Gary Owen, it's hopping, and it's hopping over the end line and wide.
Yeah, he's the one guy, Marty, that Galway will be looking for to give them leadership and give them direction in the forward line. And that time he was put under huge pressure from Jason Foley, as he executed the shot. And Foley, I think, has picked up an injury as a consequence.
Kerry man down injured here. Time for a breather. We've had almost 8.5 minutes of action, Martin, and it is pretty dull so far.
Well, there's no spark out there whatsoever, Marty. Again, last night we had very disappointing games. The first game today was highly competitive, but this one has started with a whimper. So hopefully the game will become a little bit more orthodox in formation, a little bit more attacking, and we might have some excitement, but so far, not great.
Jason Foley is from Ballydonoghue, won 2 minor All-Irelands as a fullback, 2014 and 15. By all accounts, down in the kingdom is highly rated. Loose ball is available and is picked up by Peter Crowley. Out around the midfield area. He'll probably be more familiar to the Killorglin man to be out around the half-back line. Kevin McCarthy, ball given away. Galway should be able to counter-attack, but they're a little bit slow in getting out of their own half of the field. Comes back again to Garrett Bradshaw, kicking into the space. Michael Daly, son of Val. DNA is good in that part of the world. Unfortunately, Michael sends it wide.
Yeah, the DNA very good, and again the build-up very good. A lovely intercept from Kelly back in his half-back line, a good dispatch to Bradshaw, but the finish by Daly disappointing, even though it was from a difficult enough angle.
Eamon Fitzmaurice, I think, is disappointed with the quality of passing.
Well, I think the problem, if viewers would only realise it, the pitch is like a nice rink, and the ball will come off the pitch like a doodlebug.
Whatever a doodlebug is, Mark.
Some kind of a bomb.
Well, it is difficult because, of course, we've had beautiful weather, and just the misty rain makes it a little bit difficult for the players. This is Paul Conroy, back again for Asgar Bradshaw. Sean Annie O'Callaghan gets by the first challenge, heading towards the 45. You can see the point that Martin is making, that when you hop the ball at the moment, it's just skidding. It really is like a bar soap, and it's difficult to control. James O'Donoghue. Fires Kevin McCarthy. David Clifford made a little bit of space for himself. And away he goes, bearing down on goal. Takes two to track him back. Has to go back outside, and the pass again is very poor. Comes from Declan Kine. Shane Walsh, who has seen very little of the ball so far. Eamon Brannigan. Into the centre to Paul Conroy. Trying to widen it out a little bit for his Damien Colbert. Nipping in was Ian Burke. Ian Burke was fouled, and that's a free for Galway.
Yeah, good transfer of the ball across the field that time. Comer got onto it, but running for the ball, Ian Burke. He's the one guy, Marty. He's the secret weapon, I think, that Galway have in their full forward line. That time, an unnecessary free conceded gives Galway the opportunity to get in the scoreboard.
Kevin Walsh, twice an All-Ireland medalist in 1998 and 2001. Did a good job with Sligo before moving back to his native county. And certainly is doing a very impressive job.
Yeah, and I think one of the things people will notice about Kevin Walsh's teams, okay, he was a very good attacking player in set, but he puts a lot of emphasis on defending with any team he sets out. And today we've had three examples, in fact, of good defensive plays by Galway.
And Shane Walsh coming into this Super 8 game with 16 points to his credit. Scored 8 of those 16 against Roscommon in the Connacht final. 5 of them from frees. First free of the afternoon will be Kilkerran Clonberne man, and he finds the target with ease.
Yeah, that was very confidently dispatched that time by Walsh. Well struck.
Good kick out from Shane Murphy. Out far is Jack Barry, who gives it for Sean O'Shea. Into the middle for Killian Young. Gets by Tom Flynn with rather great ease. David Clifford gets his first real scoring opportunity. And the 19-year-old from Fossa, great club just outside Killarney, suburbs of Killarney. Good score.
Yeah, but what's so impressive about him is the fact that he is strictly a left-footed player, normally a left-footed player, but that time onto his right and effortlessly over the bar.
The mark is given again and quickly taken for Johnny Heaney. Michael Daly is coming across to gather it. NUIG student, Galway captain in the past at under-21 level. He's a player with huge potential. Here's another one, Eamon Brannigan. Garrett Bradshaw has given great service to Mike Cullen and indeed to his county. Back again for us, Johnny Heaney. Floating one in. Damien Comer gets a touch. There's a chance here, which is tapped over the bar by Shane Murphy, but the credit will go to this man, Currafin, and Galway's Ian Burke.
Yeah, I predicted a couple of moments ago again, about the threat this guy brings, and that time a very good bit of anticipation about him to pick up the broken ball, put it over the bar.
Level for the second time, 2 points apiece. Peter Crowley, there's Jack Barry from the Nagrail club in Tralee. James O'Donoghue. Killarney man. Stephen O'Brien. David Moore. Not a great ball. Eamon Brannigan knocking it back to his keeper, Rory Lavelle. There's a bit of an entanglement going on off the ball, and the referee has blown his whistle, which was between
Michael Daly, I think.
No, it was Owen Kern and David Moore, I think. We'll just have a look at it here, just to see what happened. And it was David Moore, anyway. And Barry Cassidy, the referee, spotting the infringement and saying, hold on here, lads, we're not going to have any of that.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything much to it, but I don't think Barry Cassidy actually, we'll see, he's calling Owen Kern over okay, and probably will have to call David Moore as well, but I think he'll just issue yellow cards to both of them.
Referee Barry Cassidy is explaining why he wants to have a word of warning with Owen Kern.
Yeah, well, Owen Kern is one of these cornerbacks, actually. He can be very cranky at times in games. He can have a problem with discipline. There's always an edge to his game. And that time, okay, himself and David Moore are coming together. But it's interesting to see what Barry Cassidy will do about it.
Also having a little word with James O'Donoghue.
And I think his linesman.
Want to give a throw ball, I would suggest, at the end of all that.
I don't know, to be honest with you, what that's about. If there was a stoppage in play, I thought he was going to book the two players, but he has done nothing about it. But it might give a little bit of intensity to the game.
And the crowd are responding. Paul Conroy just got a Kerry sandwich, which he wasn't expecting or he'd asked for, so he gets a free. And there's an extra 13 metres for descent as well. Little 1-2 with Johnny Heaney. Eamon Brannigan. Paul Conroy. And that is over the bar. Good score. Slow build-up, patient. And it's interesting how much attention that Damien Comer has been given by the Kerry defence as we look at that ball going over the bar. Kick out is quickly taken down for Stephen O'Brien. And too quickly, in fact, too fast.
Yes, and Kerry at the moment are a little bit ragged, and Raymond Fitzmaurice will be a little bit disappointed about the centre of their defence. That time Conroy got through far too easily. I think one of the reasons at the moment we're having that is that I think their sweeper Peter Crowley is playing too far back.
Here come Galway again. Paul Sweeney showing a little bit too much. Peter Crowley and Sean O'Shea. Jack Barry. Paul Murphy. You can play him absolutely anywhere. Down first, James O'Donoghue, nice turn. And that is gone to the wrong side of the post. And that is Kerry's third wide of the game. And after almost 18 minutes of play, we only have 5 points in the scoreboard shared between these two counties.
Yeah, and Eamon Fitzmaurice is cutting a pretty frustrated figure at the moment. That was a beautifully angled ball into O'Donoghue, onto his favourite left foot. Normally one would expect him to score, but that was a bad wide.
Rory Lavelle is forced to go long. Kerry forwards were pushing up on the Galway full back line, which meant he had little or no option. Tom Flynn was fouled. Free going to be taken just inside 65. Paul Conroy to Cathal Sweeney. Nice turn, Shane Walsh. Little 1-2 here with Johnny Heaney. At least that was the original plan. He gets it back eventually. Floats one in. Just skidded off the surface and off the fingertips of Michael Daly.
Yeah, that was a well-angled ball, but as I said earlier, like the ball comes off the surface very, very quickly, and that was a good opportunity spurned by Galway. Just the game hasn't picked up at all, Marty. You know, we were looking at a team with such exciting talent in Kerry, and with a Galway team, you know, where is conscious of the defensive need with huge talent themselves, but they haven't got to the pitch of the game at all yet.
It's a poor ball. A bad collision. The two players, one player got up, but not too sure, but I think it's Tom Flynn. Over this side, it's Kevin McCarthy. And now Sean O'Shea has also gone down. Comes as far as Stephen O'Brien, and the pass is intercepted, and the referee correctly blows the whistle in terms of injury to the players, but frustration for Galway fans. Kevin Walsh is also quite annoyed because Galway were counter-attacking, and he's letting the linesman know exactly what he feels. And I can understand that.
Oh, very much so. Like, that was a good, promising counter-attack from Galway. I don't think myself that the game should have been blown at that stage. The collision occurred a half a minute earlier, and at that stage maybe it should have been blown up. But I can understand Kevin Walsh's frustration in that context.
It's Paul Conroy actually that's down injured with Sean O'Shea. It was a hospital pass, as they say, and the two of them collided. Both of them were going for the ball, but either one's departure would be a big loss here.
Yes, there was a smell of ether on it, but Marty, but fair play to you. You said they were both going for the ball. There was nothing kind of, mean about the way they went into it. They tried to avoid each other, but the collision was inevitable and both are hurt.
Really, when that happened, to be fair to the referee, he should have blown there, because I think that Kevin Walsh is dead right. I think he's angry because, having allowed the play to continue, Galway were in counter-attack mode, and you can still see he's really annoyed.
Yes,
and he's also concerned, of course, obviously, for Paul Conroy, because now when you see the little ambulance truck coming on, this is something we really never want to see, but it just looks more serious indeed than what we had anticipated. This is the collision again.
Oh, that's a nasty.
Sure is.
Yeah, that is nasty. And again, no malice of forethought in any of their heads now, in all fairness. But again, the referee at that stage should have seen the seriousness of that and blown at that stage. Now, there is definitely, I think, in Paul Conroy's case, a fairly serious injury, and that's the second time we've seen him going off in matches. Was it against Mayo?
Mayo as well.
Earlier this year,
absolutely.
he got a serious injury. For such an experienced player, that's tough. It's tough on any player, but one as experienced as he is, big blow to Galway.
Looks like Peter Cook is the player that's going to be coming on, and but Paul Conroy is a very classy player. Peter Cook, by the way, is from Moycullen, under 21 All-Ireland medalist from last year. Normally plays midfield. First time in the championship panel was the game against Mayo, and he scored twice against Sligo. So he's coming with a growing reputation here as he graduates from under 21 ranks, and this is a big game for him now as he's being warmed up. But heartbreak, that's Paul Ganey having a chance with the Kerry players. Both teams now have gathered into a huddle. There you see the Galway lads getting a chance. They'll know that Paul Conroy's departure is a huge blow to their prospects.
Yeah, very much so, Marty. And again, if you look at it this way, there's 22 minutes gone. Who would have predicted that in a game between Galway and Kerry there would only be 5 scores by this stage? We expected an attacking game and that, and all of that.
There's Owen Bomber Liston, part of the great Kerry team that won 4 in a row, with indeed one of our panellists today, the great Pat Spillane, looking on anxiously at this new team that's emerging from great minor and under 21 teams. And this will upset the rhythm of the game. Mind you, the rhythm of the game hasn't been great.
No, it hasn't at all. But again, I think it's the absence of the experience of Paul Conroy more than anything else. And remember, he got their last score, wasn't it, Marty? He'd shown that little bit of leadership and that belief that he can infuse, and that leadership that he gives the team. That'll be a loss to Galway.
Peter Crowley just having a chance to talk to his teammates. Paul Ganey is doing the same thing. So it's a chance to regroup and maybe step up a gear. Galway doing the same thing, but this is quite a serious injury to Paul Conroy, because it's not often we get a delay of this extent. So full credit to the medical team here. Well, they can take all the time in the world because it's important. The safety of the players is a priority, and we have to make sure that Paul is okay.
Absolutely, that's of paramount importance that Paul Conroy is made comfortable with what injury he has out there. It looks serious, but let them take half the day if they have to get the guy off safely and to get him where he needs to get get it treated immediately.
The fans here will be patient as well, as they enjoy a double header. Monaghan's performance against Kildare, particularly in the second half, got them over the line. But the fans here from Kerry and Galway will be hoping that number one, that Paul Conroy is okay, and number two, the game can restart.
Yeah, very much so. As you said, like Paul Conroy's health and safety, that is everything. That's what's important at the moment. But just going away from that, the actual game itself, you just love it to pick up a notch or two at the moment. It hasn't taken fire at all, Marty. And I think maybe the conditions have had something to do with it, but it's, we can see the rain coming down. But Paul Conroy now is leaving the field too, a well-deserved applause.
You never ever like to see a player getting injured, particularly if it appears to be a serious injury, but I think the medical team here have done a fine job. He'll be escorted off the pitch in this little ambulance, little truck that they have here. Brilliant facilities at headquarters. And we wish Paul Conroy, the St James's Club, that's Renmore, Merview area, 29 in May, teacher in Galway City. Same school indeed as Ray Silk. We wish him well and a speedy recovery. We hope to see him back in the Super 8s very shortly. But it's a big blow to Kevin Walsh as he watches his midfielder get further medical attention off the field. So now, back to the action. Gareth Bradshaw has the ball in hand just outside his own 45-metre line. And the game resumes. Down for us, Michael Daly, skipping away from Killian Young for the very first time. Ball in for Ian Burke, back outside. Eamon Brannigan just miscuing that just a little bit. It was not that far away.
That's the second opportunity actually that Galway have missed. Very, very loose marking by the Kerry defence. Good chance of a point, but spurned once more.
Poor kick up by the goalkeeper. Straight out over the sideline. He'd be disappointed with that. We saw something like that last year, you will recall. The ball, sideline ball is quickly taken. Out comes Shane Murphy. And the referee's whistle is blown.
I think what has happened actually, the sideline kick wasn't taken from the correct place, and Barry Cassidy is now going to throw up the ball between two players. I think the kicker encroached into the pitch in the act of kicking, so therefore he throws it up between two.
Peter Cook coming to terms with David Moran. Jack Barry is there, battling with Tom Flynn. Paul Murphy laying it off, far as Jason Foley gives it off quickly, far as Stephen O'Brien. David Moran now. Long ball into space, into that full forward line. He was aiming for David Clifford, who was cutting across from top of the left into the centre. Rory Laval. Down first, Tom Flynn. Peter Cook. Sean Andy O'Callagh saw the challenge coming. Gives it back again for us, Tom Flynn. Michael Daly, more involved. Killian Young staying with him. Goes for the crossfield option for us, Declan Kine from Clonbur. Michael Daly was waiting for it, but it goes for his own Kern. Sean Andy O'Callagh. This is becoming a feature. We saw it last night towards the end of the Dublin-Donegal game, where nobody is willing to actually kick the ball, but just continue to hand pass it. Damien Comer was out around the midfield area to try and gather possession. Crossfield pass. Nice little turn, but Shane Walsh couldn't supply the finish.
It's a dreadful ending actually, once again to a laboured move. There's nothing incisive whatsoever about it, but Shane Walsh that time had a glorious opportunity, to put the ball over the bar, but spurned it badly. Just watch this here, onto his left foot, plenty of room, bad kick. This is Gavin White from the Dr. Cook's Club in Killarney. James O'Donoghue. Same town, different club. Paul Murphy, Rapmore. Had a little bit of space. That sends it to the wrong side of the post and getting wide. That's 4 wides for Kerry in this match. And for a Super 8s game, I have to say, Martin, this is pretty poor. Very, very disappointing. And, you have to say also, Martin, that of the two teams, Galway look the more composed. They're setting the agenda, they're dictating the trend of play, and they're managing to get their defensive system to snuff out the Kerry attack.
Remember, these are the two provincial champions.
That's right, yeah. And Kerry, I expected so much from today. I expected a lot more exciting play from them. We've been told a lot about they're a young and upcoming team, the team that are most likely to, shall we say, put it up to Dublin. But on the evidence of the first 29 minutes or so, there's nothing approaching that.
Sean Kelly is okay. Seemed to pick up a wrist injury, but he's resumed his position. Free for Galway. A little bit of fouling by Jack Barry and Tom Flynn. And we'll see more recycling of the ball back into a defensive position. Gareth Bradshaw. Under pressure. Paul Ganey. Gone forward is Jason Foley. Nice combination football. Here comes Stephen O'Brien. Quick hands laying it off. No free given. And at the end of it all, there is a score off the boot of David Clifford.
Yeah, Kerry's last score, I think, was in the 13th minute, Marty. We're now half an hour gone. Clifford again got the last one, got this one here. And again, the ball came scrappily through to him that time. But you see the assurance of the guy, the way he just strokes it over the left foot.
Rory Laval. Aiming for Tom Flynn. Gathers it the second time round. Gives it for Eamon Brannigan. In the St. Michael's Club on the west side of Galway City. Peter Cook. Mike Cullen. Gareth Bradshaw. In the same club. Over for his Carl Sweeney. No pressure being exerted by the Kerry forwards until Galway reach their half-back line. Johnny Heaney getting inside the Kerry 45, having a go, and that's gone to the right of the post and wide.
Yeah, many times have I said it today, Marty, where Galway players have had ball in good situations with plenty of room and, you know, taken bad choices and put it wide. But Marty, the absence of intensity from Kerry has really surprised me today, both in winning primary ball and in getting in on breaks.
Well, you never think back, it's a Super 8 game. It's like a challenge match. They met halfway between Kerry and...
That's right, it's like a challenge match down at Crushing or something.
Kick out for comes first David Moran. On for Stephen O'Brien. In comes Owen Kern. Gareth Bradshaw. Sliding tackle by James O'Donoghue. And that's going to be a free for Galway.
But that was dangerous. That was a dangerous tackle, the way he went in there. That definitely is worthy of a booking. And having seen what we saw a couple of moments ago, you know, Barry Cassidy definitely needs to take a hand this particular one. Definitely yellow card territory.
That's exactly what he's after, getting a yellow card for that sliding tackle. Rain pouring down here in Croke Park.
Yeah, going in like that, I mean, is dangerous, basically. And again, maybe you can blame it on the conditions to a certain extent. You know, it's so slippy out there. If a player goes down like that, he's just going to skid into his opponent. But that was a dangerous tackle.
Nicely done. Shane Walsh. Declan Kine is up there. David Clifford. Ball comes back out for his Peter Cook. Crossing it in for his Tom Flynn, I should say. Nice combination football. The finish again is wayward.
Marty, I'm like a broken record talking about bad options and inaccurate kicking. Galway have had great opportunities to have had themselves 4 or 5 points ahead coming into half-time. Once more, very, very poor finishing. You can talk all you want about strength and conditioning. Accurate kicking is ultimately what decides between teams winning or losing.
Declan Kine is down injured. He needs a little bit of medical attention, which Kevin Walsh will organise immediately. Experienced member of this Galway side, under severe pressure, managed to get it back for Shane Walsh. He's coming across the field now to get some medical attention as well. Coming on is David Wynn. will take his place momentarily while Declan gets the medical attention he needs. Referee Barry Cassidy telling Shane Murphy, the Kerry goalkeeper, to take the kick out again. It's kind of a surreal atmosphere, Martin, I have to say. I don't know the official attendance, but this game has almost been played in silence, which I wasn't expecting.
Well, absolutely. Okay, you might talk about the fact, the timing of it and all of that, with other things on, you know, all over the world. But 6 scores.
8 additional minutes will be played in this first half. David Bourne gathers in the centre of the field, lays it off as Paul Murphy. Combining nicely with David Clifford. Still Paul Murphy. Seemed to be a strong challenge by Eamon Brannigan. Clifford again, getting it for as David Bourne. Kevin McCarthy from Kilcummin. Over for as James O'Donoghue. Ball skidding off the surface again. Clever play by Stephen O'Brien. To me, looked like a 45.
Yeah, I
the
think
umpire agrees.
Yeah, I think it is a 45 also. It's right, Marty. But Galway, Marty, of the two teams, are showing the greater appetite since the beginning of the game. They may not be on the scoreboard, but in terms of general play, they are the more impressive of the two teams. But I think, again, viewers cannot underestimate the effect of incessant rain on a bone-hard pitch. It is causing the ball to kind of spin away from players. It's causing maybe partly some of the being responsible for some of the inaccurate kicking. But the conditions are difficult.
I know that the conditions are difficult, but there's a lack of intensity, Marty.
Lack of intensity. You could be in a morgue, Marty. We could be in a morgue. There's so little atmosphere here.
Poor as rain, as you can see, and we've had such great weather. It's a bit of a surprise to see it, but the farmers and the land definitely needed the rain. They're getting it today. As goalkeeper Shane Murphy takes the free and puts that over the bar.
Yeah, that's beautifully struck. We saw Rory Beggan in the first game kicking some beautiful scores from distance. That time Shane Murphy emulates him, and Kerry are now a point ahead, even though they've played second fiddle.
Good kick out from Rory Lavelle to Shane Walsh. Gavin White chasing him. Two really good footballers on your television screens. Dropping this in towards Damien Comer. He can turn, he can shoot, that's way better. It's taken a long time before there's even a trickle of excitement in Croke Park. But it is Galway that's supplying it here with a direct ball to their captain, the Anna Downman, jinking left and right and then swinging the leg and swinging that ball over the bar. Good score. Here comes Paul Ganey. There is David Clifford. It's dropping and it's well wide.
Yeah, I'm surprising he took that ball on actually from where he did out in the right half forward position. He had kind of Ganey about to run into a good position had he been given the pass. But that last score from Comer's the first involvement we have seen him in during the course of the game, and it results in a point.
Rory Lavelle's kickouts impressive in this first half, finding his man most of the time. Johnny Heaney. Back fires Peter Cook. He's actually played well. He's taking his opportunity, getting on a lot of ball. Ian Burke couldn't control it. Jack Barry well. Sean O'Shea. Killian Young. Over first Gavin White. Paul Ganey. Pulls the brakes, turns and shoots a fine point. This misty afternoon in the capital city being brightened up by the two full forwards. Previously it was Damien Comer, now Paul Ganey.
Well, that score would adorn any game. Beautiful bit of foot passing. Ganey just got into position, just stroked the ball over the bar once he got that little bit of space.
One of the greats of Kerry football, Maurice Fitzgerald, there with Eamon Fitzmaurice.
Yes, he would have approved of it, Marty.
He's pushing by Kerry, apparently. Is the referee indicating that it's going to the Connacht champions. Gareth Bradshaw. Give it back for us, Peter Cook. Looks around to see if there are any options available at all. There is. Cathal Sweeney. Stepping into the Kerry half of the field, being pursued by Kevin McCarthy. It's a good play by Sweeney. Ian Burke was pushed in the back. that is a free in for Galway.
Yeah, once again, in Burke running away from goal. Brino Bagley just a little bit over enthusiastic in coming in on him. But I'd say the conditions have as much to do with, you know, the concession of that foul as anything else. But Burke is one of these guys, Marty, that I would anticipate if he gets enough ball, he has certainly the potential to cause damage.
Shane Walsh going to take this free. Just 24 years of age. He's already scored 1 point from more or less the same position. Scored 3 against Mayo, 5 against Sligo, as I mentioned earlier, 8 against Roscommon. And a man of the match performance. Judging by what we've seen over the 40 minutes, every kick, every free is crucial in this match. Shane Walsh has raised the white flag for the second time here at Croke Park. Kerry and Galway level again. Intense work by Peter Cook, forcing David Bourne to look around. Ultimately comes back to Dr. Croke's man, Shane Murphy. Jack Barry. Overfires Gavin White. The speed motoring down the wing in Park McCreeve today. The Munster final was one of the highlights, and here he is in a very good position. He went forward, giving it a cross. Oh, it's a terrible ball. Great anticipation by Owen Kern. Coming out at speed. Tom Flynn is fouled by Jack Barry. Ball comes back first, Peter Cook. And the free overfires Damien Comer. Comer trying to slip one through Farzine Burke. Good play. Nice balance, nice turn. Good shooting, way better at last. This game is beginning to just sparkle.
Lovely bit of football that time, lovely bit of combination between Shane Walsh and Ian Burke. Just watch the quality of the ball coming through here. Turns, pivots over the bar with his right foot.
Great anticipation by Owen Kern. It was he that started the move. He went at that interception at speed, and from there it ended up with that wonderful point. Down towards David Clifford, having to give it back for us, James O'Donoghue. Paul gaining, all three of the full forward line touching the ball now. First Jason Foley. And switch it down to the other wing. Here's Stephen O'Brien. He's on the 45. He's confident he can land this over the bar, but it's just after swinging to the left and wide.
Yeah, and I think all through the field, actually, all through the half rather, that Galway have pushed up very effectively on Kerry. They've pinned Kerry back quite a lot. Kerry have found it very difficult to actually get quality balls through to their forward line, and that'll be one of the issues I think that they have to address at half time.
I think you'd be disappointed with the first half performance, Eamon Fitzmaurice.
The team with the appetite is or the greater appetite is Galway.
That seemed to be clearly off the ground by David Bourne, and Kevin Walsh is incensed by the decision, and the linesman didn't inform the referee either. It doesn't matter a hoot, to be honest with you, because we've had 43 minutes in this first half. That delay to Paul Conroy. But certainly with the drizzle and the mist, it is difficult conditions. That having been said, this Super 8 game lacks a bit of intensity. Galway playing the slightly better football and lead at half-time by 1. Half-time in Croke Park. Kerry 5 points. Galway 6. Don't go away. We'll have analysis in a moment.
This year, SuperValu will donate €2.6 million to GAA clubs, proud sponsor of the Senior Football Championship.
They have 3 games to play at this stage of the championship, and both Kerry and Galway would like to get off to a winning start, of course. At half-time, it is Galway who lead Kerry by 6 points to 5. The attendance here at Croke Park at the moment is 30,740. I can't honestly say, Michael, that they're enjoying it, but we have seen, 11 scores in that first half, and it really hasn't been much football. But I suppose Galway are ahead, so...
Yeah, it hasn't been hectic now, and the injury to Paul Conroy in the middle of it just stalled everything again, so the momentum was never generated. But at 6 points to 5, I think Galway will be happy enough, given, aside from what happened to Paul, just to be ahead, to keep the game tight. I think that's exactly what they would have wanted coming into today. If you go back over the years, Kerry, the last 5 times they played Galway, they've scored on average 20 points in each game.
Yeah.
You know, so they're a long way off that marker here yet, and Galway will be where they want to be, slightly ahead and the game nice and tight.
Yeah. And this is the whole point. I mean, you know, we've talked so much this summer, Pat, about the quality and the potential quality that's in the Kerry team.
Well, Michael, whoever called this the Super 8 could be pulled up under the Trade Descriptions Act tomorrow morning because it's anything but super. I mean, this is an insipid first half. Why has it been insipid when you have some of the great forwards of the game playing? It's been cagey, it's been tight, over-analysis of both teams. Galway will be happy because it's a tight game. Defensively, they're on top. Kerry scored 4 points from playing that first half. They've conceded no free. Galway will be happy with him. Kerry have brought no energy. They look undercooked. It's been very disappointing. And let's not blame the conditions. Yes, slippery, but there's no wind. But to kick 14 wides, top forwards, it's very disappointing, Michael.
Oh, well, we definitely can't blame the conditions, I think, Colin, because this man here beside me played on that day of torrential rain 10 years ago, and that was a magnificent game of football.
Absolutely fantastic. I remember we were enthralled here in the studio with the quality and the standard. In this game, it's been played on Galway's terms. Anyone who thought that Kerry were going to go out and shoot the lights out against what transpired to be a dreadful Cork team, and anyone who thought that Galway were going to allow them play like that were being very foolish, and it does look as if some of the Kerry forwards have believed in their own publicity. It's been dreadful on their part. Their inside line, which is much vaunted, apart from David Clifford, has been very poor. So Galway are but as a game, there's more back passes that I'd say than there are in Moscow. And as you said, the conditions shouldn't dictate. Like there's a pasty, skinny little fellow over there in Moscow called Modric, who's been the player of the tournament, and he's not 10 stone weight or 5'8" in size. So like skill should trump everything, as you saw in that game you're talking about so many years ago.
Well, Pat, actually, you have highlighted how you perceive Kerry to be struggling with...
Look, Michael, it wasn't today that Galway suddenly decided we're going to have a defensive system. They've been playing it all year. This is the way they set up. 11 players. So Kerry know what they were facing. And Kerry struggled with the blanket defence. They're kick passing into... Look, a turnover. Watch the same thing again. Pass on the ball. But there's 5 Galway players in a round. Ball is turning over. So it didn't happen overnight. Kerry are struggling to overcome the blanket defence. Again, we highlight David Clifford. David Clifford made a sort of run. Watch where the Galway sweeper is. Look at where the ball goes, straight to the Galway sweeper. And again, it's something similar in the final clip I've shown. Again, Kerry out the field. Again, slow. Watch the Galway sweeper. He's in front of David Clifford. They try a long ball and it's cut out. Look, what Kerry, like the one thing, you're right, you've David Clifford, James O'Donoghue, Paul Geaney, some of the great forwards in the game, but what they don't have, there's no energy, there's no intensity, there's no pace, they're not asking questions. And I would have to agree with Colin, it's like as if some of these fellas have believed all the hype about them after shooting the lights out against 2 mediocre teams in Clare and Cork.
From a Galway point of view, now there is only a point between the two sides.
Absolutely.
We have to acknowledge that. But at the same time, Galway occasionally have given us a few glimpses of the kind of scores they're capable of taking if they have a goal.
Yeah, they put together a couple of nice scores here. It was only the few times that they really kind of looked up and were able to go direct, because Kerry, as much as Galway, have as many players behind the ball, without doubt, during that half. But here it's a bit of cautious play. Just worked through the hands, and that was Paul Conroy before he went off, just hooking one over from the middle of the D. This one here, Shane takes the kick out, and he gets a ball in eventually, I think, into Damien Comer, who's inside, and he just turns and rifles over, wins the ball well. If he had taken it clean, he might have backed himself to kind of take it on and challenge the goalie there. And this started with an interception with Owen Kern, going back to Pat's point. But 2 kick passes, a lovely ball into Ian Burke, and watch how he turns here. Just lovely shimmy and swings it over with the right. So we've seen glimpses of that, and very occasionally though. There's a lot of cautiousness there. They're steady and on the ball. They're not willing to give away turnovers. And I think one area that Galway will be delighted with is that the Kerry running game hasn't taken off. Now maybe we'll see it, but the likes of Stephen O'Brien and Sean O'Shea, these lads bombing through the middle, I think that's what they're going to have to look
Because
to.
one of the things I said about Kerry in this year's championship, he had left them off the leash. They were playing with pace, first touch football. What we saw in that first half is the old Kerry from the last 3 years, cagey, conservative, ponderous, slow in their build-up, and just not going for it.
Well, one of the problems, I think, with the amount of hand-passing drills that are done is players always look short. From our vantage point up on high, we could see a lot of space that players kick the ball early, but they don't seem to have the vision to do that.
Yeah. Paul Conroy, the most experienced player, obviously, in Galway, he's been there for a very long time, of course. How big a loss for you, Michael, is he in terms of his influence, if you like, on the...
Yeah, he's a mature head in the middle for the pitch, or for the team. He probably mightn't have went the distance anyway, you know, of late there's options there to get lads in, you know, to give him 50, 60 minutes, but he was after getting a score, he was under kick-out, so he will be a loss. They're now down a sub, you know, to bring on, they've got Peter Cook in earlier than they would have liked, and Kieran Duggan, who's their other option in midfield, who had a man-of-the-match performance against Mayo, isn't togged. He picked up an injury in a club game. So
Galway have a choice to make here now. They can stick with the game plan that they have at the moment and keep it tight. But as you were saying, Michael, before the game, normally they open up in the second half and they push on. But they don't need to change from the format of the game. It's working very well for them.
Fab, just noting a substitution for Kerry. Tom O'Sullivan is coming in at left full-back.
Their defence has been poor, there's no doubt about it. They're playing Peter Crowley as a sweeper. Peter Crowley is not used to that role and he's very poor as a sweeper. Kerry are poor when you run down the middle, the same old problems again. I'm surprised that Killian Young was introduced, but it may be a good move.
We're looking at Darren O'Sullivan and the star coming out.
Yeah, let's see what happens in the second half. So we'll go back to the commentary box to rejoin Marty Morrissey and Martin Carney.
Thank you very much, Michael. A crucial Super 8's game that we hope will sparkle into life for this second half. As Michael mentioned, 30,740 is the official attendance. I don't think anybody who stays for the second half will be hoping for much better. Here we go. Comes back fires Peter Crowley. First free of the second half, much like the start of the first half. Goes to Kerry. Sean O'Shea. David Moore decided not to give it back, fires Killian Young. David Moore gets the return pass. Paul Ganey scored a fine point in the first half. He's going for his second. He hits it with his left, and it's inside the post and over the bar. Good start to the second half. Very good score by Ganey.
Yeah, the best forward that they have actually is, and the way he took on responsibility that time is encouraging from a Kerry point of view. Left foot, confident kick, good score.
Again, the Kerry forwards are pushing up on Rory Lavelle's kick out, so he has to go for distance. Eamon Brannigan aiming for Damien Comer or Ian Burke. Either would do from his perspective. Gavin White gives it back to his keeper Shane Murphy. Two lads, of course, won All-Ireland club medals. Dr. Crokes in recent times. This is Jack Barry. It is league debut against Donegal in the first round of the league last season. Killian Young. Good ball. In fires Kevin McCarthy. David Clifford just skids off the fingertips of Gavin White, and it gives Galway the initiative, and they're gone into counter-attack mode. Eamon Brannigan, good defending by Paul Ganey. That's great tracking back by the full forward, full credit. Tom Flynn going to take this. He's aiming for Damien Comer, and here he is, he gets a touch. Tom O'Sullivan from Dingle, who's just been introduced. Brino Jogliak at half-time at left corner back. Jack Barry, now a student in University College Dublin. David Moore getting by Peter Cook, laying it off quickly for Kevin McCarthy. Did well to recover. There's nowhere to go, and away comes Declan Kyle. Good tight corner back. Good mover, Cathal Sweeney. Eamon Brannigan. This is better, much better. Start to the second half. In for Ian Burke. Thomas Sullivan with it. Gives it back outside. Chance of a point on its way for the Connacht champions. This time credit to Sean Kelly, but a very well-worked move all the way up. It began here, great work by the cornerback, and it ended with a fine point by Sean Kelly.
Yeah, Declan Kine, quick transfer of the ball, good pass out from Ian Burke to Kelly. Kelly in the right place, backed himself, great score for Galway.
James O'Donoghue. Great battle going on between Sean Andy O'Callaghan and David Clifford. Owen Kern not shirking his responsibility, coming in with a fair shoulder, but conceding a 45. Right along the sideline it will be as well. But good defending here by the cornerback.
Yeah, good defending by Kieran that time, and good persistence also by Clifford that, in the same situation. Kieran, as I said, a very, very tenacious cornerback. Clifford, so far, a couple of times he got good positions, got good scores. He needs to get on the ball a lot more, though.
Kearns, originally his dad and uncles would have been playing with Michael Cusicks up in the heart of the Burn. Great football people. In far as Paul Gainey. Twisting and turning. He's going for it. Comes back off the post and the goalkeeper is happy to boot it anywhere. Still alive from a Kerry perspective, but not anymore. Gareth Bradshaw back him up. Gives it back for his Cathal Sweeney. Roy Lavelle. No free given. Looked to me that was a free.
Oh, that's a clear free. That's a clear free again. That was a late tackle. Clear free. Barry Cassidy called it late.
Johnny Heaney stepping away, looking around to see who can he give the pass to. Tom Conroy is the choice. Shane Walsh twisting, turning, and heading for goal. Still Walsh. Gavin White blocks his track. Gives it back out for his Tom Conroy. Ball skids off the surface. Who got the last touch? It was a Kerry man. Sideline ball for Galway. Quickly taken. Gareth Bradshaw. Into the centre. Over towards Cathal Sweeney. Very much involved in this Super 8's game. Ian Burke gets a touch. Referee deemed that it wasn't along the ground. Comes back for his Gareth Bradshaw. Tom Flynn. Peter Cook gone into a full forward position. Still Tom. Now giving it to Cook. Back outside for his Gareth Bradshaw. Going for the long ball. Easy to defend. Opportunity here, the ball dropped in and Rory Lavelle was quick to react. Just coming back off the post. Paul Murphy. He's fouled. Free for the Kerry man.
Yeah, I think it...
Something like Martin Carney, 110 passes, hand passes each.
Oh, well, to me, Martin, you know my call on this is just a plague on the game. The incessant hand pass, the use of the incessant hand pass in Gaelic football is just destroying the game of football as a spectacle. And again, I don't know how you legislate for it, whether you limit to 2 or 3 hand passes before you have to kick it, but it's certainly kind of just, it becomes a pudding of a match when you have an overemphasis on them.
Shane Murphy, radar not working. One of the best games I was at actually this season, Martin, was Armagh against Roscommon in Portlaoise last weekend. It was a joy.
Yeah, because there was a lot of kicking of the ball in that game.
Yeah, the football that we all fell in love with.
I'd love to even see in winter time, maybe a condition game where only one hand pass was used between top teams, and just see what's it like by way of spectacle.
Crowded midfield area. Referee Barry Cassidy from Derry feels that Kerry were fouling. Johnny Heaney will spread it wide over here for Carl Sweeney. Back to Heaney. Damien Comer is capable of scoring from here. Seemed to slice the boot, the kick. And that is another wide. 10 wides Galway have shot to Kerry's 7.
Yeah, and on top of that, Marty, both teams are struggling to assert themselves at the moment. You have so much poor passing. You have laboured movement. There's indecision indecision is permeating every phase of the game, and there's little or no fluency in either attack.
Goalkeeper Shane Murphy joined Dr. Crokes from Kilcommon back in 2016. He's now not only the Crokes goalkeeper, but the Kerry goalkeeper and captain. Kevin McCarthy. There's James Donoghue. Tom O'Sullivan lending assistance to the attack. Jack Barry. David Clifford. So much of this game being played between the 20 and 45 metre line now. There's such a crowd of players. That's from our vantage point up here. Kevin McCarthy. Stephen O'Brien gives a burst of energy, a burst of speed, and he's rewarded with a fine point.
Well, in fairness, that's an injection of positive play that time from Kerry. Stephen O'Brien took the responsibility on, went hard for it and got a good score. But that Kerry will certainly kind of hope to take a bit of inspiration from that, because it's a long time since I've seen such an inept performance from a Kerry team.
Rory Lavelle again has to go for distance. Paul Gainey. James O'Donoghue turns, shoots, comes back off the post. Carl Sweeney is the first to react, and Galway come away with it. Johnny Heaney now. Garrett Bradshaw. Heaney has gone forward. Damien Comer off camera is coming out to meet him. Michael Daly is the choice. Through the middle. It's Peter Cook. Steadies. Will it curl? I don't think so.
No, that's
wide.
That's a promising move butchered that time by Cook. A lovely bit of interplay that time. Good pass from Flynn into Cook. Bad landing.
Kieran Donaghy must be wondering about the team performance, but also wondering, will he get a chance to come on and make a contribution?
He doesn't look best pleased there with his facial expression as anything to go by.
3 Galway men to 1 Kerry man from the Kerry kick-out isn't the right option from their perspective. Damien Comer and a down. Captain. Dangerous near goal, and that's where he's heading for. Still Damien Comer, and eventually he gets a free. But my word, he had to work for it, didn't he?
Well, certainly he ran at them, and the Kerry defence was consumed with panic that time. Comer drove straight at them, drew the free. That's a great bit of play from Comer, and Killian Young, for an experienced player, will be annoyed in giving that away when there was 3 Kerry defenders in place to execute the tackle.
Kerry midfielder, at least that's where he normally plays. Anthony Marr is coming on, and the player that's making way is Jack Barry. Eamon Fitzmaurice makes changes.
Yes, I'm not surprised, because overall today, even though Galway lost Paul Conroy, the midfield of Galway, Thomas Flynn and Cook, have been very good.
Killian Young has just been shown a yellow card. Meanwhile, Galway have an opportunity from this free to go back in front. Shane Walsh has his own unique style, but it works. His 3rd point of the game. This is the incident again involving Damien Comer. There's Killian Young clearly pulling him down.
Oh, very much. You just wonder, was that not in black card territory, Marty?
It certainly looked deliberate there when you look at the replay.
But just look at how well Galway are pushing up at the Kerry kick out at the moment. Kerry are getting no players free whatsoever.
Eventually, Kevin White makes a run. Ball skids off the surface. That's good pressure by Sean Kelly. Good work tactically by Galway, must be said.
They're holding them.
Anthony Marr has the back pass. It's not a great back pass, and the goalkeeper had to be very alert and come off his line. Seemed to be a foul there on Eamon Brannigan.
Yeah, I thought that was
Paul Murphy.
Yeah, I thought it was a free in for Galway.
Referee, who was right beside him, but he didn't give it. Here comes Jason Foley, laying it off for Stephen O'Brien. Foley has gone for the return pass. James O'Donoghue brings it out to the midfield area to Anthony Marr. It's not a good pass. That's twice Anthony Marr has touched the ball. Hasn't worked out according to plan. Not the normal service. And the Galway fans and supporters are beginning to believe that they can actually produce a winning performance here. They're showing a little bit more drive and determination. Shane Walsh giving it into Comer. That's the man they're aiming for every time. Another Kerry sandwich, no free given. Advantage, back fires Peter Cook. This is much better from the tribesmen, much better from the Connacht champions, except for one thing, the finish.
Absolutely frustrating. A very promising move. Great crossfield ball. Comer getting on the end of it, setting up the opportunity. But Galway at that time scored a great chance to put themselves further ahead.
Well, he has the potential to be the match winner here. There's no doubt about it. And the Galway lads have great faith in their captain. They're trying to feed him. Meanwhile, it's Kevin McCarthy laying it down for James O'Donoghue. Talk about potential match winners. Here's David Clifford, and that's over the bar. Much better from Kerry. Third point of the game for the Fossama.
And if you think of the simplicity of that, Marty, a long kick in front, Shane Murphy went to McCarthy, went to O'Donoghue, Clifford over the bar. But look at that chance. I thought that was actually should have been a free in for Galway. No, maybe
it was good goalkeeping.
Good goalkeeping, in fairness. Yeah, in
not
fairness
a foul at all.
Yeah.
As Shane Murphy came to Anthony Marr's rescue. Ball comes down for Peter Cook. I have to say he's played well. Ian Burke is pleading off camera that that should be a free, and I'm inclined to agree with him. But the referee didn't even consult with his umpires. And maybe justice is done when Galway regain the possession. Ball down towards Damien Comer. It's available again, knocked away cleverly. Gavin White is there. There's Peter Crowley. Paul Murphy. Kevin McCarthy. Good anticipation by Sean Kelly. He's doing a marking job at the moment. Back there is an extra man. And he wins a free. But full credit to Sean Kelly. He's working hard.
Played very well that time again on Sean O'Shea. Very effective defending that time.
Kerry are introducing Micheál Burns and Dr. Crooks. He played wing forward. He was wearing number 10 in the Munster final in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. And James O'Donoghue is the player that makes way.
Yeah, in fairness, O'Donoghue's got very little direct ball into his corner. Again, when he has got it, he's been quite effectively marked. So, this substitution, I think, will give Kerry a different dimension. Burns is quite a very, very effective player.
Eamon Brannigan going to go down it, but Paul Murphy was able to toe poke it away and then hand pass it away. Great determination by Paul Murphy, but the finish again is really disappointing.
Yeah, and for a player of the calibre of Paul Geaney, you would have expected that ball to go over the bar with his eyes shut. That's a very disappointing end product.
He knows it himself. 8 wide of the game for the Kingdom.
Yeah, when you think about it, Marty, how many of Galway had on top of that? 10, is it? Or 12?
Owen Kern been spoken to by the referee, Barry Cassidy, here. And there's a card being shown, and that is a yellow.
No, I didn't see what that was about, Marty. It must have been something that was said or something that happened off the ball.
Kieran Donaghy is stretching. He could well be introduced very shortly. On a day when the greasy ball is a factor, he could well be fierce dangerous around the Galway goalmouth with high dropping balls, because it was noticeable in the Munster final that once he came on, the tactic changed from Kerry. They just lobbed long high ball in around the square for a good 20 minutes. No free given. Picked up by Paul Sweeney. Far as Eamon Brannigan. Kerry are back in numbers, so they have to recycle it, Galway. The long ball to Damien Comer was not an option. Sean Kelly. Bradshaw. To Eamon Brannigan. Trying to work his way through this wall of green and gold jerseys. Ian Burke doing the same. Back for his Peter Cook. Sean Kelly, Garrett Bradshaw. Just 5 players in the other half of the field at the moment. The other 25 are on your television screen. Johnny Heaney. Shane Walsh is outside. Garrett Bradshaw. Ian Burke. Bradshaw. He wants to feed Ian Burke. He figures he'd probably score quicker than he would. And then it's all messed up.
Yeah, it's far too complicated. That I think the ball went through maybe 11 Galway hands in that attack. Ended up going over, over the sideline of the corner. Over complication, guilty of.
Adrian Varley is coming on for Galway. And the player that's going off is Michael Daly.
I thought when Michael Daly came in, actually, he was quite effective, but he's gone out of the game in the second half, so it's not a surprise, actually, that substitution has been made.
Johnny Heaney to Shane Walsh. Adrian Varley is arriving into the corner. Gavin White stays with Walsh. And away goes Shane Walsh now. Good angle. Oh, great work. He had to work hard, all on his own really, but it shows what a classy footballer he is. He was patient, but he had the balance, the physique, the skill, and above all else, the radar working.
Radar working, Marty, a two-footed player, the beauty of a two-footed player, great score for Galway.
Ball comes back out far as Eamon Brannigan. Damien Comer stepping away from the challenge. They're trying to. Well, one back on this occasion. Micheál Burns playing deep, giving it to Kevin McCarthy, who in turn gives it to this man, Stephen O'Brien. David Clifford gets inside the cover. Oh, that's a good ball inside, and it just skidded off the surface. And the fingertips, and Rory Lavelle is there. Tom Flynn. Sean Kelly gets a touch back for his Garrett Bradshaw. He's very much like the conductor of the orchestras. We often use that phrase, but he really does mind and man the middle and distributes the ball well.
Yes, he's been very effective. He drifts between being sweeper and being attacker. Here again, he's on the ball once more.
Just news coming to me here that unfortunately it's not good news that Paul Conroy has a broken leg as a result of this clash that happened here in this Super 8 qualifier, so we wish Paul Conroy a very quick recovery and wish him all the well. We are all admirers and fans of Paul Conroy, great footballer. And it's his county that's going into the attack, and that's a good score. And it's Declan Kine that's come forward from the corner back position. I've been impressed with Kine this afternoon. He's worked really hard as a defender, but also...
Yeah, but equally so, Marty, very impressed with Sean Kelly in the way he assisted that. David Moran wins himself a free. Galway establish themselves with a 2-point margin at the moment. Sean O'Shea laying it back as Kerry try and break down this quite resilient and quite determined Galway defence. When they defend, Galway are quite good at it. So much so that I can see Damien Comer almost playing at the right corner back at the moment. They do backtrack these forwards, they work hard. You have to work very hard to get a free in Croke Park. Yes, and I think Barry Kelly is going down to the far end of the field. There was an incident off the ball. I think their umpires have brought it to his attention. Barry Cassidy is going now down to deal with it.
So the umpires consulting with the man in charge. It'll be interesting to see what happens here as he goes down to his umpires at the Davin end. Be interesting to see what emerges from this. Clearly the information is there. The umpires were visible to everything.
I think it was between Ian Burke and whatever happened between Ian Burke and the substitute that came in, I think Thomas Sullivan.
But it's good to see, once it's absolutely exact, good work between the officials and the referee happening. And Barry Cassidy is coming out to have a word with Jason Foley.
It's Jason Foley, it's not Thomas Sullivan.
Well, possibly, no, he's bypassing Jason as well. He's looking for, looks like Killian Young. Now, Killian Young is already on a yellow card, so this could be a serious, it's a red. Straight red. Not a second yellow, straight red, and Kerry are down to 14 players.
Yeah, that's a huge blow to Kerry. Such an experienced player to go off at this stage of the game.
We believe it's for striking, is what we're hearing from the sideline. And meanwhile, Shane Murphy will take the free. It's lobbing just to the right and wide. So, seem to be striking off the ball is what we're being told.
Yeah, and it was down inside their own D. That's where it happened. I just saw it the moment after it happened. I didn't see the actual event itself, but the umpires clearly brought it to the referee's attention.
Kick out goes to a Kerry man. He was fouled, that's Stephen O'Brien. Kerry will now have to readjust. As Killian Young was a central figure at centre back, obviously. He was also helping out the attack. The attack that, to all intents and purposes, is not really functioning. Nice skill, good work by Micheál Burns. Laying it off as David Clifford, and that is over the bar. It's his fourth point of the game. He's got so little opportunity, but anything that comes his way, Clifford is deadly.
Yes, and an oasis of calm in the Kerry team by comparison with all the others around them. But very often, Marty, we see teams when they go down a man, it sparks them an extra effort. Galway have this game now, you know, everything going for them.
Kerry management discussing what's going to happen. You just have to look at the top of the... There's the blow right at the top of the screen. And there was a punch thrown. It was there for everybody to see.
Yeah, definitely. A senseless act and a red card. Definite. Barry Cassidy got that one correct.
And full marks to the umpires and Barry Cassidy because the information referee was contacted and correct action based on what we've seen there was taken. This is Johnny Heaney. Now, can Galway capitalise on that numerical advantage? Or can Kerry, as Martin said so many times, when you're 14 against 15, the passion is aroused and they got their game plan a little bit better. This is Kevin McCarthy. There's only 1 point between the teams and there's only just about 10 minutes left. In the centre, it's Anthony Marr. His old midfield partner, David Moran, laying it off for us, David Clifford. Staying with him is Sean Andy O'Callaghan. Back out again for us, David Moran. Micheál Burns has added a bit of fire to the Kerry attack as that effort goes well wide of the target.
Yeah, and just going to that attack, that all resulted as as a consequence of Cathal Sweeney losing possession going forward. There's no need for that now that Galway have a man extra. They should move the ball quickly rather than take it needlessly into tackles.
Kick up by Rory Lavelle. It's aimed at Owen Kern, but Stephen O'Brien was fouling the Galway cornerback. So Rory Lavelle will take responsibility here. Sean Andy O'Callaghan. And the Galway under-21 team that was beaten by Dublin in the past. Going forward again. Good football. Ian Burke, equally good. Back first, Peter Cook. Johnny Heaney gets by 2 challenges. And then sent back again to Declan Pine. Good defender, good going forward as well. Adrian Varley, that's a really good score. Excellent play. And Galway stretch their noses to 2 points in front.
And that's a great score by Varley, Marty. The way they patiently built that up, eventually got the ball in Varley in a threatening position. That's a score at a crucial time that puts Galway very much in the driving seat.
Gary O'Donnell is on for Galway. Player that's gone off is Garrett Bradshaw, who obviously might have run out of petrol because he's run all over the place this evening.
Yes, he showed great leadership, one of the more experienced team, and equally Gary O'Donnell, a very experienced player, and again worthy of selection on most occasions, but a very good substitute for Bradshaw.
Eamon Fitzmaurice, it's been a frustrating afternoon. He'll be so disappointed with this performance, and he won't want to lose Jason Foley as Kerry introduce double substitutions to see if they can pull this out of the fire as Donncha Walsh and Mark Griffin warm up. They've got about 6 minutes to try and rectify the situation, enhance the team performance, and perhaps reduce that Galway lead to at least get a draw out of this game. Make that a treble substitution. That looks like Barry John Keane is also joining the action. And Patrick Sweeney, who is the twin brother of Carl Sweeney, is coming in for Damien Comer. Galway captain going off.
Yeah, surprised at that in a way, Marty. Comer was working very hard, maybe in a defensive situation the last while.
So Donncha Walsh is going on for Sean O'Shea. And Kieran Donaghy is going on for Jason Foley. So some very experienced players in this Kerry squad being called into action. That's Barry John Keane, who will add certainly speed and determination. He's replacing Kevin McCarthy. So Eamon Fitzmaurice isn't sparing the squad. I haven't seen so many Kerry substitutes come on at the same time in a long time, well, to be honest.
Desperate measures are needed in desperate times, and there's an area, there's a feel of desperation about these.
So now, can the fresh legs, and indeed lots of experience, rectify this? Forward kick out again from Shane Murphy. I have to say that Rory Lavelle's kickouts just seem to be a little bit better. Good decision making by the Salt Hill Knocknacarra clubman in this Super 8 game. Peter Cook laying it back for Sean Kelly. Going forward or indeed defensively, Kelly is good. Tom Flynn comes first, Carl Sweeney. Gary O'Donnell. Pass was not a good one. He's there to help Carl Sweeney out. There's another chance of a score on its way. And Galway are playing the better football and deservedly stretch their lead even further, now to 3.
Yes, Adrian Varley in that, I think, has sustained a serious enough injury. Great score from Varley, though.
It's the second of the afternoon, but he certainly looks like he's in trouble here. There's a bit of arguing going on. Now we're looking at Shane Walsh, who also seems to have picked up an injury, but there's probably greater concern about Adrian Varley. This was Varley going forward, but he fell awkwardly with the challenge. The block down was coming in.
Yes, but Marty, there are so many flashpoints around the field at the moment. Barry Cassidy's at the far end of the ground trying to settle an argument between Gary O'Donnell and one of the Kerry players, but Galway definitely have their tails up at the moment.
Barry Cassidy going back to have a word with Carl Sweeney, Galway man. and his immediate opponent happens to be Paul Ganey. Meanwhile, there's still concern about Adrian Varley. Same club as Derek Savage, great footballer and won All-Irelands with Galway. Cartoon Shamrocks. He came on in the Connacht final, scored a point. Adrian Varley, and he's doubled that here. All the players gather in a diamond in the hope that the quick kick out from Shane Murphy will reach one of the Kerry boys, and that plan didn't work. Not a good ball. Little push on the back, which Ian Burke spotted. It wasn't a good ball in the first place. There was actually no need to foul him.
Absolutely right, Marty. There was no need whatsoever to concede that free. The ball was overhit, overcooked, gone over Ian Burke's head. Unnecessary push on the back. Gives Galway a great opportunity now to go 4 up, just coming down the stretch. And Marty, you can be sure there won't be in any rush to take it.
Now with the clock ticking towards, I'll soon get my English right, the clock ticking towards the 70th minute. There's Damien Comer encouraging from the sideline. This will be a huge victory if they can hold on. They have a 3-point advantage at the moment. My director has just told me there's 5 additional minutes just going to be put up on the big screen, so there's still plenty of time.
There is plenty of time for Kerry, but it's a Kerry team that never found its spark or its energy levels today that we expected from them.
This could be Shane Walsh's 5th point in this Super 8s match. He drives it through. White flag will be raised. Galway fans happy out, and rightly so. Not every day of the week they're going to achieve victory over Kerry, as it would appear right now.
Yeah, but credit the way, Marty, they're pressurising the Kerry kick-out throughout. Kerry are finding it very difficult to find extra men, and this time Barry Cassidy is calling, I think it is Patrick Sweeney aside because of the fouling that's going off the ball.
Patrick Sweeney being booked here by the referee for an off-the-ball incident, and that's going to merit a yellow card. This is the incident here.
Yeah, definitely pulling down, messing off the ball, not allowing the kick out be taken.
Good unnecessary. And that will roll out over the sideline. Advantage Galway. Eamon Brannigan wanted to take it quickly. Sean Kelly. Peter Cook over for Ascal Sweeney. Declan Kine, Sweeney, his outside man. They combine nicely together. Kerry chase and put the pressure on. Galway are composed. Sean Andy O'Callaghan needs to get rid of it quickly. And Shane Walsh is there to help out his defence. Eamon Brannigan. Not a great ball. Mark Griffin was able to deal with it. Paul Ganey is brought down to ground. Referee didn't signal an advantage, but I think that's what he had intended. David Clifford beating Owen Kern on this occasion. And the corner back coming out the worst. There's a straight tussle between the two of them. There's a little bit of tripping and holding by Owen Kern as well. He's already on a yellow card.
He's on a yellow card. There's definitely a second yellow sending off. But Galway's ability to manage the game now, that's, you know, there's certainly, that's one of the things that's going to be asked, to manage the last couple of minutes. They have a 4-point lead. It's theirs for the taking.
And the referee has his book out. And it would appear to me that there's going to be a second yellow card for the Anna Down clubman. Players off camera want to get on with the game. Barry Cassidy is saying no substitution yet because he's going to have a word with Owen Kern. I think for that deliberate trip on David Clifford.
Well, the medical people are concerned enough to actually ask Barry Cassidy just hold on a moment because Owen Kern seems in trouble after that particular incident.
Showing him a second yellow, and Owen Kern is now off. So no amount of concern or deliberation will put off the referee. This was for deliberately fouling David Clifford here.
Well, I thought that time, in fairness, he just fell underneath him, actually. He tripped into him. I don't think there was anything deliberate in that, but it merited the yellow card. Second yellow, red.
black card for Tom Flynn. So the landscape is changing. There might be still 3 minutes left. There's 4 points between the teams. Galway now have lost Owen Kern to a second yellow and Tom Flynn to a black card. Well won back. Barry John Keane. Stephen O'Brien pulls the ball away and away goes Eamon Brannigan. There's nobody except Adrian Varley up front. Great running off the ball by Shane Walsh. Look at this for an engine. Brilliant play, Walsh. He lays it off. There's a chance of a goal to wrap it up. Oh, brilliant save. It's still there. There. It's in the back of the net. Patrick Sweeney hits the back of the Kerry net and Galway rejoice. It was a defence spinning move that started in the Galway half of the field. A scintillating run by Shane Walsh. The highlight of this Super 8 game. Brilliant save by Shane Murphy, but Patrick Sweeney was there to rattle the back of the Davin net.
Yeah, but credit Shane Walsh for his unselfishness, for his vision, for his ability to put the best man in the best place, hit the ball. But Patrick Sweeney wraps the game up for Galway.
113 Galway, 9 points Kerry. Just when it seemed everything was changing, with Tom Flynn getting that black card and Owen Kern getting the second yellow. Free in for Kerry this time.
Well, Marty, I spoke to John Tobin on Friday and he was certain that Galway would win this. I thought he was mad, to be honest with you, but they have been a revelation this afternoon and they've certainly shown their credentials this evening, and by God, they are a real threat now for an All-Ireland.
Well, this will be a huge confidence boost to them for Eamon Fitzmaurice. Huge disappointment after the performances against Clare and Cork. This is well off beam, to say the least, as David Clifford gets his 5th point of the game, first from a free. For Kevin Walsh, the build-up of this game will give him great joy, and Patrick Sweeney did so well. But credit as well the creator, and that was Shane Walsh, who made the run. And all Galway that's here in Croke Park and the Lower Hogan certainly savoured the moment. It's a very impressive scoreline, a 6-point victory so far. Still time left for Kerry to change that. It's Barry John Keane floating this one in, and it's gone wide. 11 wides for Kerry. They will want to forget their trip to Croke Park for some time, as Galway now introduce Frankie Burke. Frankie is coming in, and another substitution. That's another Anna Down player, and Currafin's Ian Burke is the one that's making way. When the full-time whistle blows, well, I don't know when the Galway people in Croke Park celebrate, but they'll be celebrating in Clifton and Connemara and in Tune and across Galway, because it doesn't happen every day of the week that they beat the mighty Kingdom. They'll savour this. Connacht champions now beating Kerry, sending out a clear signal.
And the first time I think Galway have beaten Kerry actually in 53 years in Championship football, Marty, and it follows up on their National League win in Trolley earlier in the year. So it's a great day for Galway football.
Ball is dropping in. Gavin White was trying to pull the trigger, at least Paul Gainey, and here's a goal. David Clifford, lethal around any goal mouth, gets a goal. He's now scored a goal and 5 points, but it's too little too late. Paul Gainey ran into a cul-de-sac wall there of maroon and white, and David Clifford pulled in it first time. Great courage by Gainey, it must be said. Great finish by David Clifford.
You've got credit Clifford, Marty, for a young lad, only 19 years of age. He's been superb today for Kerry.
Full-time whistle has been blown. It's Galway's first championship win over Kerry since the 1965 All-Ireland final. The counties have met 7 times since then, with Kerry winning 6, while the 2000 All-Ireland final was drawn. Kevin Walsh will commiserate with Eamon Fitzmaurice. For the Kingdom, it's back to the drawing board. For Kevin Walsh and Galway, this is a significant victory. They've won Connacht, they've also beaten Kerry. Full-time score in Croke Park in the Super 8 match. It is Kerry 110, Galway 113. Don't go away, we'll be right back with analysis.
You read the game better when you've all the facts.
This year, SuperValu will donate €2.6 million to GAA clubs, proud sponsor of the Senior Football Championship.
Yes, Galway have claimed the points in their first outing in Group 1 of the Football Super 8s. The Tribesmen have beaten Kerry by 1 goal and 13 points to 1 goal and 10 points. Michael Meehan, it wasn't a great game of football, we all know that, but it was a win for Galway, first over Kerry in Championship since 1965. It ain't all bad.
Absolutely not. No, there's a large population of Galway people who never ever witnessed an event like today. First win in 53 years. It's a big step for this team and for Kevin Walsh and what he's been doing. And I think they'll take great belief. There's loads of room for them to improve. You know, they're wides that they kicked. If they manage to lose that game today, they'd never forgive themselves. But they will be thrilled with the result, and to get the 2 points, it sets them up now to have a go and try and top this group.
I suppose one downer from a Galway point of view, a broken leg for Paul Conroy from that incident in the first half. Yeah, it's very difficult for Paul now. I feel sorry for him, and it's just that his season is over now, you know, and he'd be a big loss to the Galway lads. But you know, they just have to get on with it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we wish him well. Obviously, Pat, I have to say, most people, including myself, thought Kerry were going to win this game here today and take the 2 points. It hasn't worked out that way. No,
credit to Galway. They played the game in their terms. They brought more energy to the contest. Kerry were outplayed, out-taught, out-fought, with the exception of David Clifford. There wasn't a single Kerry fellow won an individual battle. I said at the start, our glass was half empty after the league. It was very poor performances during the league. We survived in Division 1. After the 2 games in the Championship, all Kerry people got suddenly optimistic. The realisation now is that Clare and Cork were absolutely atrocious. Look, the bottom line, Kerry came today with no energy, no work rate, and that's terrible. I thought that was terrible. The work rate, the energy, the hard runs that are required weren't there. This was a Kerry team that looked like they had turned up in Croke Park and they were going to win the game and they're going to get handy ball. So came into the contest undercooked, and a very, very poor performance by Kerry, but well deserved Galway. We have seen 2 games now in this group today here. Colin Monaghan winning earlier on in the day at Croke Park. So we now know where the first blows have been struck, and this is going to make the next 2 weeks interesting.
Absolutely, and the whole thing has been underwhelming from my point of view. I was here last night and we had 2 very one-sided games, and what we have now with Kerry going to Monaghan next weekend, this is the group of death now, really, for them. Galway have to take on Kildare in Newbridge, so that's going to be exciting as well. But the team for me that sent out the strongest signal over the weekend has been Tyrone. I thought they were magnificent last night. OK, Roscommon were very poor, but Galway have answered every call today. There are a lot of bubbles burst with the Kerry squad, but let's give credit to Galway. They set out to play in a certain way and they carried it out methodically in a very disciplined fashion, and they're improving game to game, and that's the way to have your team going at this time of the year. Michael, I suppose it's a case of much done, a lot to do from a Galway point of view. This is still progress. You know, sometimes I know Galway people criticise the way they're playing. Michael, they've just beaten Kerry for the first time in 53 years. That is progress, Michael. We've been involved in too many shootouts where fair play lads, you played brilliant. And best up next year, you know. You have to give credit to Galway with their defensive system. For too long, Galway were soft touches, they were nice lads, played lovely football, and sure, well done lads. Now there's a hard edge to them, there's a system of play, a defensive system that are hard nut to crack, and well deserved. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. The result. They've got room to improve as well. You know, they've shot a lot of wides today. In fairness to the likes of Shane Walsh, he really stood up and was counted again today. Having a good summer, no doubt. OK, lads, thanks for that. So, at the end of a very busy weekend, it is time for us to close the door here at Croke Park for the moment. Now, as ever, Des will be along later when, amongst other things, he will be revealing the man of the match winners from today's big games, 9:30 on RTE2. But from all of us here at Croke Park, until the next time, bye-bye.